So in the past, I used to rely on one income source, which was my monthly paycheck. Fast forward to today and I have multiple income sources. And in this video, I'm going to reveal all of them to you. Now, I'm a big fan of diversifying your income sources, just like in investing, how I like to have different kind of investments, different brokers, because you never want to put all of your eggs in one basket. The same with your income. Because while it's great to get a regular income paid to you, if you only have that one income source, well, guess what? If that stops coming in because you got laid off or your company goes down or whatever happens, all of a sudden you are left with nothing, right? So I think it's very important to diversify your income sources and not just be dependent on one single source. So while I used to be a luxury hotel general manager, I was really relying mostly on my one single source of income, which was my monthly salary, which was great. But at the same time, obviously, I always had that fear over my head. If there was something to happen, maybe to my performance or my willingness to move within the company, because usually you have to move to other countries when they tell you to. And I didn't feel like I wanted to do that anymore. I wanted to live life on my terms. So if it was to say no to them, maybe they just cut me loose and all that income would be stopping, right? So that's why I was a big fan of looking for alternatives to diversify my income from different sources. But at the same time, I want to be very honest. I don't think all of you have to have 15, 20 income sources, right? Sometimes when you watch too much YouTube, you're made to believe that you need to have, I don't know how many countless amounts of income sources, and people seem to be boasting how many they have. And I really don't think it's about how many you have, but definitely want to have more than one, ideally two. Again, just for the sake of diversifying. But if you have 20 different income sources, but each of them produces you $100, let's say, well, that's $2,000, right? It might not be life-changing money. Yes, you're diversified, but ultimately you might be spreading yourself too thin. So I think there's also over-diversification. So you want to have a couple of key ones that you can really focus on and build on. And even if you're employed, which is totally fine, start looking into side hustles or investing to produce you a second income stream, maybe a third one later on. Just once again, to have that safety and comfort, knowing that if you were to let go or things happen to your company, you're still going to be having money coming into your accounts. So let's kick things off with the first one, and probably most obvious for those of you watching me and knowing me from YouTube. That's how a lot of YouTubers make their money, is from YouTube ad revenue. So basically every time you watch my video, there might be an ad before or during or at the end. Every time you watch that, which I do appreciate, it does pay me a little bit, a few cents, but then obviously over time, the more views you get, that does really make a difference and start adding up. So while right now it's probably not my biggest income source, it certainly has grown over the years. I mean, I've been on YouTube close to 4 years soon, and I remember the first paycheck I ever got from YouTube was just around $60, and I was over the moon. I couldn't believe it. It was really, really cool. And yes, I am still a very small channel when you think about it. Less than 30,000 subscribers is these days not really considered a big channel. But then again, I'm very niche in the finance space, which obviously is maybe not that popular, but actually quite lucrative, because here we talk about CPMs, because different niches on YouTube and other channels have different CPMs, basically the cost for 1,000 impressions. So how much they will pay you for 1,000 impressions. And in finance and investing is much higher than, for example, if I was to have a cooking channel. I think that would be very hard for me to sustain. But on finance, investing, all things money related, usually those advertising also have deeper pockets, because obviously it's a much more lucrative business model, running a broker or a crypto exchange, than again, selling some cookbooks, right? So that's really attractive. And just to give an example, that's actually one of my very first videos that I made almost 4 years ago about Revolut. Now when I look back to it, really random, totally strange. And yeah, it just looks so cringe to me. But hey, even to this date, it still makes me money. It still gets views. And look at that. I mean, not even 100,000 views in total, which is still considered really not some kind of viral video, right? So nothing really crazy. And it still ended up making me almost $2,500. And as I said, even till this day, it still produces me money. That's the beauty of YouTube, right? It's evergreen content. When people look it up, they'll find the video. If you make a post on Instagram, a week later, nobody cares about it anymore, right? You have to always come up with fresh new content. So that's really what I love about YouTube. And while I can't only live off it, it's definitely a growing income source. Many days of the month making me over $100, which is really nice. But of course it fluctuates, right? When you go to Black Friday or end of the year, it really starts booming tremendously. But then, maybe at the beginning of the year, January, February, March, is maybe not that busy because, advertisers are paying a little bit less. So it's a bit more seasonal, it fluctuates, but over the span of the year, it definitely becomes a substantial income source. And I think as the channel grows, I get more views, that will become more and more meaningful money to my bank account. The next one is affiliate income. And that's right now my biggest income source and arguably my favorite income source, because here it's really win-win-win. So how it works, basically anyone watching my videos gets interested in a topic or a broker or an exchange that I talk about, then goes down to my description and uses any of the links, right? Clicks on, for example, Lightyear, Trading 212, eToro, any of the tools that I use myself. they basically get taken to the broker, exchange, whatever tool I'm talking about, and then start opening account or start using the service. And the cool thing is, why I really love it is because it's win-win-win, right? It's a win for the stockbroker or the crypto exchange or whatever service I use because it brings them new clients or users. It's a win for the user itself because usually with my link, you get a discount, right? For me, that's very important also to give value for the viewer. So with my link and the partnership I have with the company, they get a special deal as well. And of course, it's a win for me because I get a kickback in the form of commission for any signups, which can be really beneficial. So that's why I say it's win-win-win. You don't pay extra, you get a benefit, I get a benefit, and the broker wins. So for me, it's really my favorite business model. And the cool thing is also it's evergreen, right? Those links can be under old videos that I made many years ago, and still people watch them, they like the service, they use the link and open a broker, and I get a kickback from it without any cost to you. So that's really, really exciting. And it's really scalable, right? So basically the more content you make, the more chances you have for people to use your links and use those services. And I'm really proud that I'm only promoting services or tools that I use myself, right? Because trust me, as my channel grows, I'm really being approached by a lot of random stockbrokers and crypto exchanges especially that want to work with me and give me really nice affiliate sign-up deals. But I just wouldn't use those services myself. So I don't feel comfortable recommending them to any of you. So I really only recommend services that I use myself. Next up, we have sponsorships. And I'm really happy to see this slowly growing. Now, again, as I said, I'm still fairly small YouTuber, I would say, even though the momentum is growing and I can slowly start seeing exponential growth. And I'm really confident that eventually, once I stick with it, I will reach 100,000 subscribers. That's my goal. If it takes 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it doesn't matter. I will go there. I'm a long-term investor and I'm really long-term committed to YouTube and all my other businesses that I'm running. So as the channel grows, I think sponsorship revenue and income will grow exponentially as well. Right now, I had a couple of ones, not every single month, but time to time. And yeah, honestly, it's really good money. But here the same logic applies. I would only accept sponsorships from products or services that I use myself. But here I would really love to also maybe branch out of other stockbrokers or affiliates that I use usually in my videos. But for example, partner up with a clothing brand. Now, I'm maybe not the most fashionable guy on YouTube, but the clothes I wear is pretty much always one company. It's called Cuts Clothing. Guys, if you're watching this, happy to partner up with you because that almost becomes like a trademark, right? I always have pretty much the same t-shirt. I have some other colors as well, but they're all from the same brand. So that's what I'm talking about, right? Or the same way how I'm really active and keep myself healthy and fit. I exercise a lot, so maybe partner up with a brand from a kind of different industry or niche to sort of cross promote, right? Because, I don't want to end up promoting 10 different brokers. It's just, a little bit misleading. And I don't think people need to have 10 different brokers. They should have a couple, but, I don't want to go overboard with that. So I want to be still selective with this. But yeah, as I said, it's starting to grow more and more. Like 2 years ago, I didn't have a single sponsor. Now it's slowly starting to grow. And yeah, hopefully we can scale that up even more in the future. The next income source actually comes from my Smart Money Club, which essentially is an online community that brings together like-minded people that want to talk about all things money, investing, and personal finance. Because let's be honest, usually we don't really get to talk about these things with our family or friends. So here is really a safe place where we can hang out and talk about all these things. So while I did launch it last year at a slightly higher price point and completely behind the paywall, I actually pivoted a few weeks ago and now it's a freemium model. So it means it's also accessible on the free plan. So you don't have to pay anything. You can just join over here. You can see the free access area. We can meet the members, have the announcements, discussions going on, have access to resources, a coffee break to hang out and have a bit of fun and banter. But then we also have a premium area where people can pay for to join live calls that we have regularly, ask for help, the knowledge hub, share your wins, portfolio updates, where I basically update all my portfolio buys, new additions that I'm doing and really share them over here. So I think you get a lot of value and insights out of that. And for that, users are paying me $15 a month. And yeah, it's a small amount, but obviously as more users are coming on board, that monthly income continues to grow over time. And in fact, I actually lowered it recently. Previously, it was around $30. I think it was just a bit too expensive for some people. And some people just want to get basic knowledge and insights. That's why I have the free plan. And I do want to keep it free always just to get people access to it because not everything should be behind the paywall. But for anyone who does want to join the inner circle and really get more insights and in-depth knowledge and also be able to DM me and hang out, I think those $15 are really well spent. I mean, that's the equivalent of 3 Starbucks coffees or a Netflix subscription. So definitely check out the club and either join us on the free plan or become a premium member. And I can't wait to see you on the inside. Next up, we move to my private one-on-one call consultations, which I'm offering, where basically anyone who wants to work with me directly, get some personal consultations, feedback, ideas, whatever it is, can basically book a call with me. Once again, you find those links under my videos usually. They will take you to this page, and then you can pick from either 30 minutes or 60 minutes call with me. Obviously they schedule the call as per the date that they like and it fits for me. And then we have a call. And in general, I really enjoy those calls. Every time I'm done with them, I feel really energized and excited. However, here I'm really selling my time for money, and I totally get it. For some people, $250 an hour might seem like way too much. But then again, I look to other creators who charge significantly more, and still people pay for that. So again, I still want to have it for the time being, but in the future, I could definitely live without that income source, because as much as I enjoy them, it's not really scalable, right? I mean, eventually you would have to pick up the prices to $500 an hour, right? As the channel grows, because I really value my time, right? I'm thinking, in that 1 hour, I could be putting out another video or send another email newsletter. And there, if the newsletter continues to grow, I've seen people charging $2,000-3,000 for a sponsor on the newsletter, right? And that's much more scalable, and my time would be much better spent on that than on a one-on-one basis. So for the time being, I still keep it. I enjoy it. I do not really push it or promote it too much. Eventually, probably going to increase the price again. We'll see how it goes. For the time being, I'm enjoying it, but I can definitely see myself more and more moving away from that. Next up, we move to my passive income, right? Even though I always say there's no true passive income, but probably it's pretty close to it. And the first one has to do with the rental income that I get from my 2 Dubai properties here in the UAE. And while I don't get the money paid on a monthly basis, even better, I actually get it paid on an annual basis, because they pay me the full 12 months in advance, which is really awesome. Yes, they get a slight discount based on that, but you have the whole money at once. And they're not moving out, after 4 months or 5 months, because they already paid you the whole rent basically. And then I can use that money to reinvest into other things rather than having to wait for it, right? It can already be working for me in the market or invested and get some interest. So it makes me even more money than if I only get it in tranches every 12 months. And yeah, honestly, that money has been really, really good. That basically in the beginning paid for most of my living expenses, even here in Dubai. So I'm really grateful for this. I still keep them. Now the rents are going up so much, which of course on the one hand side is painful, because here in the apartment where we are right now, we're still renting. So on the one hand side, you get it. On the other hand, you pay it. But yeah, the rents are going up, which is nice. And I can definitely increase my rents as well. And really, I think by now it's really quite a substantial amount. Despite only being 2 apartments, I'm really happy with this. But as great as it is, I'm not really looking to add any more investment properties to my portfolio. 2 are more than enough. And in the future, I'd rather invest in the markets, because it's just more liquid, right? Because if tomorrow I decided I needed that capital from those apartments to buy our own villa here or new apartment or whatever, it would take me quite a while to sell it, to get the money in my bank account and so forth. So yeah, I still like to diversify. That's why I keep my real estate holding. But in the future, I'll definitely focus more on my ETFs, individual shares, as well as my Bitcoin holding. Then we come to the second passive income source that I have, and I actually talk about it every month in my portfolio update videos. And here I talk about interest, dividends, and cashback. And those amounts can really vary month to month, depending on how much I spend my money to get cashback. The same way with dividends, because now I receive them on a quarterly basis. So it means 2 months in a row I don't get a dividend, and then in the 3rd month I do get a dividend. And right now it's still really not substantial, because S&P 500, the dividend percentage is like 1.2% yield. So it's nothing crazy, not life-changing money, but it's still income paid to me. Plus, of course, the interest I got, in the past way more when interest rates were higher. They have come down quite a bit and probably will continue to drop. But still, I have some cash sitting around. So I do collect right now here in the UAE, I think it's 3.75%. So not too bad. And it's available anytime I wish. So that's cool. And of course, also on my crypto, on my USDT stable coins, I get right now 10%, which is not too shabby. So they do add up. But once again, I wouldn't be able to only live off that. But that's why I said, once again, I like to diversify, right? Have different sources of income. And that's really rather passive, which would come either way just by having my money sitting there. With this, let's talk about my last income source. And that's actually my new business, which I have teased for a while, but haven't actually talked about anywhere on my videos or socials. Well, here it is. And the business is called Match My Broker. And it's a stock broker comparison website, which I'm really passionate about. And I think it really naturally works very well with me, because I always talk about stockbrokers and different financial tools. And here we can really help users make the right decision and find the right stockbroker for them, give them deep dive, unbiased reviews and opinions about a certain broker. As you can see, very detailed analysis where you can go through and really understand what a broker is all about, whether it fits for you or not. And my favorite feature is the Match My Broker tool, where you basically go through, answer a couple of questions, and that will tailor the best broker depending on your location and in line with your desired needs and requirements. And you might have actually seen a couple of the links that I featured in some of my videos or pinned in the description below. Things like the compound growth calculator, where you can basically plug in some numbers and see how much your portfolio could grow over time. So I really like these kind of features. And in the future, I'm going to be putting out more and more such helpful resources for you as well. And I got to give a big shout out to one of my viewers, actually subscribers to the channel, Todor Dimov. who actually built my website from scratch, and really he did a tremendous job. And I can only recommend it if you're looking for someone to build your website, anything Webflow related, he's your guy, so definitely check him out. So yes, I still think it's early days for Match My Broker, but essentially the main income source here will be similar to my affiliate links, where basically people go through the website, research different brokers and insights, and if they like something, they click around and end up open an account with a broker. Well, then once again, they get a benefit out of it, the broker does, and I get as well in the form of an affiliate. So really win-win, and as I said, it's probably my favorite income source, affiliate income. So that's yet another stream, not just depending on my channel, but this is really independent. I want this website to be independent of me. Yes, I happen to be the head behind it, but then eventually I can really scale it up, bring more and more team members in, and really become the go-to place for all questions around stockbrokers and which one to choose and go with. And I only launched the website end of last year, so it's only been a couple of months, but even now I'm starting to see some good traction, ranking well on certain terms. So obviously, the more content you put out there, work with different partners, being mentioned on other websites as well, I think that will only propel the website forward. And once again, it's similar to YouTube, similar to investing, similar to looking after your health. It really is a long-term game, right? I don't expect to rank number one on all the search terms that I'm trying to rank for on Google overnight. It really takes a long process. And especially now with people using AI search more and more, you also have to pivot a little bit about that, right? It's not only about Google anymore, but I can see from my own website, a lot of the searches come from AI search engines like Perplexity, like ChatGPT, and it does end up pulling some of the sources also from my website. I'm really excited about this. Well, there you have it. These are all my income sources that I currently have. Now, if I make this video in a year, 2, 3 years from now, they might be different. They might be less, they might be more. I don't know. Right now, my goal is to double down on those. As I said at the beginning of the video, my goal is not to have 20 income sources, right? I believe in quality over quantity. So while I do believe in diversifying my income sources, I don't want to have too many because that's hard for me to also keep a track of. And those that I do have, they really should produce substantial amounts. Right? So if something pays me less than $1,000, is it really considered a real income source? Obviously depends on your life circumstances, but for me, probably less and less. So I really want to focus on quality income sources. And that's why my goal is to double down on the ones that I already have, make them produce even more going forward, rather than just adding more income sources for the sake of having more. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, really appreciate it. Next up, check out this video over here. As always, stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.